What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from the real deal, Los Angeles landlords train for potential attacks from tenants. As eviction moratoria end, the AAGLA offers classes in self-defense. So this is all part of the Rona fallout. Somehow, some way, the CDC told you that you didn't have to pay rent. 3 years later, now you have to pay rent, and landlords are preparing to fight the people that are refusing to pay rent. This is insane. This is absolute insanity, but this is what they want, chaos. And they want you to live in the pod, right? They told you, well, the Rona's so scary that you don't have to pay rent, and they left the landlords high and dry. It's finally 3 years later starting to subside, the insanity that is, and it's become so extreme that they are preparing to fight people. I mean, what is happening in Los Angeles to the point where people believe they are entitled to just live for free? We apparently, if you're an illegal, you can live for free. Ask the row NYC when these migrants refuse to leave. They want to send them to a housing project in Brooklyn, or not a housing project, but something they set up in Brooklyn, and they don't want to go because they want to remain in Midtown Manhattan on Billionaires Row. And this is a similar thing, right? These obviously aren't migrants because I assume they had to show proof of employment, tax returns, ID, all that stuff that an illegal wouldn't have to. But since you're an American, you do have to. But now, after the CDC came up with you don't have to pay rent, and that ends, you're angry. You don't want to go back to the old way. It should just be a free-for-all. Screw that landlord. It doesn't matter. He's rich, right? You don't know anything about these people. Now, maybe he is rich. Maybe he doesn't need to collect your rent, but it doesn't matter. This is just how the system works. You're not entitled to just live for free, but somehow this is the mindset that these people have gotten. As the eviction moratoria in the Los Angeles market end, landlords are preparing for potential fisticuffs with violent tenants being booted for not paying rent. The Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles is hosting self-defense classes for landlords and property managers, Capital and Main reported. I mean, this is insane. Rather than try to fix these problems, they just put Band-Aids on top of them. This is what happens every single time, right? Like Lori Lightfoot in Chicago says, well, if you don't want to get robbed, don't carry cash, because they're not going to stop the criminals. They're not going to stop the squatters. Just fight them. Just get ready to fight them. It'll be fine. And then, of course, as soon as you fight somebody who doesn't want to leave, you're going to be the one getting arrested because everything's backward, especially in Los Angeles. The landlord advocacy group hired ex-cops from the Oregon-based Health and Safety Institute to help landlords train for potential attacks from irate tenants, transients, and more. In COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, they lost their family, and the last thing they have is their house. Kerry Rios, a former traffic cop, told a self-defense class this month at the association's office in Koreatown. You're taking the last thing they have. Yeah, well, a lot of that is, of course, the overbearing state government that demanded you don't go to work, you don't send your kids to school, and you can't go back to work if you didn't get the shot. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom's at the French Laundry. Meanwhile, Mayor London Breed is also at French Laundry. She's dancing a Tony in a San Francisco nightclub. You can't go to work. Quote, this is their worst day. I'm not trying to scare you, but you need to be prepared for that. Until February 1st, landlords could not evict tenants in the city of Los Angeles who cited Rona as the reason they couldn't pay rent. The Rona was the excuse for everything. Just it was a cure-all. Anything you didn't want to do, Rona, throw it out there. It was always the excuse, right? From tenants to landlords to cleaning to police to, everything. Oh, Rona, the supply chain. It was just Rona was everything. It was everywhere. And we were apparently, nobody actually believed that everything was just going to go back to normal. I knew that they had destroyed everything in March 2020. It was very obvious what was happening, but it took some people a long time, and some people still don't realize exactly what happened. Well, I don't know exactly what happened, but I could tell that what they were selling us from the very beginning was not accurate. That much was crystal clear. The recent conflicts between tenants and landlords inspired the Apartment Association to host the classes. Dan Yukelson, its executive director, told Capital and Main. Yukelson, I don't know, himself took the course, known as Active Violence Emergency Response Training. County eviction protections expire March 31, while the city of Los Angeles ended January 31, the apartment association sued both the city and the county over eviction protections and lobbied to end the eviction moratorium. Yeah, well, it was crazy. None of it made sense, but it was just to create chaos, right? That's all it was. Obviously, gain political power. They can say, well, we kept you in your house. Vote for us. We made it free for you to live, even though they were so short-sighted. Well, they weren't short-sighted. They knew exactly what they were doing, but the people who believed what was happening was a good thing were definitely short-sighted, right? The powers that be, the political establishment, they knew they were ruining everything for years to come, but it didn't matter because they make more money on the way down. But the people who thought this was a good thing didn't realize, were too stupid perhaps to realize that in the long term, this ain't gonna work. In response, the city of Los Angeles enacted a renter's protection package requiring just cause evictions. Enter the self-defense classes, which began last year because of concerns about increased violence against landlords. Crazy. Absolutely insane. They want to beat up the landlord because they don't want to pay. I mean, this is real communist stuff. This is crazy. They're just going to take it by force. I'm going to live here. I'm not going to pay you. And if you try to kick me out, I'm going to beat you up. I mean, give me a break. Much of the course focuses on preventing mass shootings, another reason Yelkelson said the apartment association started the classes. Okay, well, this is just really extreme because, like I said, they're never going to fix the problem, right? They're not going to try to lock up shoplifters in New York. They're just going to add dogs to the front of the store. They're not going to stop the squatters, and make them face consequences. They're just going to say, oh, well, you can box it out. And if you win, then you get to kick them. I mean, how is this even helping? You guys fight it out, and then whoever wins takes the property? It doesn't make any sense, but that's par for the course in California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, more specifically. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and, of course, subscribe.